I'm ready.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, that's good.
It is good. It is good. You know what? I feel so patriotic right now after listening to those horns and seeing that eagle flying.
Mm-hmm. I'm with it.
I'm I'm I bleed red, white, and blue.
You
I
bleed
mean,
it.
I bleed red because I gave myself a paper cut earlier today,
Wow.
and it was red. Hello everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Generally Irritable. You guys are actually going to be seeing my lovely face twice today live. Got a great show coming up for you this evening with guest Bruce Abramson. He is an author, PhD, dean of students, super smart guy. We're going to be talking about the stuff going on in Israel and the history of the region. That's going to be later today, 6 p.m. Eastern. But we wanted to do a special headlines edition. We're going to be toying with this segment a little bit over the coming weeks. We love Guy Page over at Vermont Daily Chronicle. We are subscribers there. So if you guys don't know, if you are a reader of Vermont Daily Chronicle, they are a subscription based news outlet. So we have a recurring payment that we send to Guy every month as a supporter because he brings us the news around Vermont that we don't get from the 7 Days, the Burlington Free Presses, the WCAXs. Guy Page and his team are covering the events around the state that mainstream media doesn't want you to hear about. So all the time, I hear people say, "Oh, I didn't hear about that. I didn't know that happened." Well, that's because the media doesn't tell you that Vermont is turning into Gotham. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. So I've got Benjamin, aka A Darker Perspective, here with me today. We're going to be reading off and reacting to some of the headlines from Vermont Daily Chronicle. And again, we're going to be toying with this segment over the next couple weeks. So make sure you guys to leave a comment. We are live, so feel free to ask us a question, leave a comment. We're going to engage with you. And but most importantly, we want to make sure that this news is getting out there, so share it. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. And big shout out, first of all, to our subscribers. So we've got Kurt over on Patreon and Keisha over on Subscribestar. Big shout out to Keisha over on Subscribestar. That's the platform we're moving towards, you guys, to bring you this content. It's the best place for you to go, become a member of the channel, and show us some appreciation and support for helping to bring you this news, keep you up to date on what's going on. So big shout out to Keisha over at Subscribestar. Subscribestar/generally irritable. Go check us out and get signed up, tuned in, tuned up. Benjamin. I think today started out with me reading you the headlines from Vermont Daily Chronicle, and I think you said something like, "Yeah, we should do a special episode today." We've been talking about it. I think it was your idea in the first place, but I think you got us going today. So again, remember, you guys, special edition of the headlines. And then we're coming back to you live again later for a conversation with Bruce Abramson. So here's what we have for headlines today. In the subject line from Vermont Daily Chronicle. Oh, wait, this one was yesterday. I'm going to read you the last 2 days, okay? Yesterday was drug dealer suspect body found in woods. Okay. Can I hear you, Benjamin? Are you muted? Give me some audio. I can't hear you.
Boom.
Okay, there we go.
Fwam, fwam, fwam. Is that
I
him?
love it.
Perfect.
Josh, I love you. Josh Howard, one of my berry people. Watching this podcast may extend your life expectancy. True story.
It may
I
also
mean,
extend the expectancy of your freedom.
technically we cannot prove or disprove any medical
Mhm.
uh advantages of
Yeah,
being a member of the channel. However, you will be a better human being and you will feel better about yourself. That is for sure.
facts.
Dan, what's going on, my man? Am I considering a run for 2024? That's hysterical. We were just talking about this. I said if somebody puts together a board of 12 people to run my campaign and raises $50,000 worth of seed money, I will run again. Those are my terms. Those have been my terms since last November. As of yet today, no one has taken me up on my offer. So, this is so Patricia, what's going on? Good to see you. Yes, we are bringing you the news, the information that the news will not report. They are a bunch of liars. I was really excited, got to interview Brandon Strock at the First in the Nation Summit a couple weeks ago in New Hampshire. You guys go check out Of the People. It's another podcast that I'm helping produce and co-host, Of the People with Robert Chernin. It is, we do an interview we got to do an interview with him and we talk a little bit about how the news just like does not report things correctly. He got caught up in the J6 stuff. Great interview. Go check it out for sure, because we definitely talk about those things that the news does not want you to hear about. So that's what's been going on. Doing that's generally Irritable's been a little bit light as we're building the other show at the same time, doing some cool events with Robert, like the First in the Nation Summit in New Hampshire. That was awesome. All those interviews are going to be coming out over the next couple weeks. Make sure you go over there, like, share, and subscribe that channel as well. We've got great content that we're bringing you, great stories, and
Yeah.
really, really interesting information.
Interview Brandon Strock. Who else?
This week we
Asa.
highlight week we're highlighting Brandon, Sean Spicer, and Joe Pinion from Newsmax. So those are the 3 interviews we're highlighting this week.
Then you're going to be doing Greek gods eventually, because you got K Sorbs, the Hercules himself,
Oh,
Kevin Sorbo.
Hercules.
Hercules.
Literally, I get to interview Hercules, I got to, and his beautiful wife, Sam Sorbo. That's coming up we'll release that one in a couple weeks. They've got some new books, children's books, great family friendly movies. That was an excellent interview. Looking forward to talking to them again. And Kevin makes a little cameo in my interview with Sean Spicer. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Yes, Dan, Becca Ballant is a disaster for Vermont. We might be covering that in our headlines today.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Because she dumb. I shouldn't say that. Our
Robert
opponents are
always
not
says
dumb.
they're not dumb.
They're misguided.
They're
It's just there's
misguided.
so much they know that isn't so.
Well, that was nice.
Is that the Reagan quote?
I think that's the Reagan quote.
I think that's the Reagan quote. Okay, so back to the headlines, you guys. Back to the headlines. Josh, oh wait, hold on. Okay, then I'm getting to it. Josh said, your book is still the best and also great for kids. A real page turner. Yes, if you have a copy of our book, Reasons to Trust the Government, make sure to go to Amazon and leave us a review. A 5-star review with some comments.
I want a wild
Uh,
comment.
as wild and crazy a comment as you want to
Yeah.
leave, the better. Check out our book, Amazon.com, for just $9.99. You too
Pastor,
can be a proud owner.
Pastor and CEO, presidential candidate Ryan Brinkley strongly endorsed our book.
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Also, you can find that interview and that endorsement on Of the People with. Oh, wait, did we put that up on Reasons to Trust the Government
I think it's up somewhere.
or on Of the People? Where did we
That
post that?
clip, that clip
I
is
saw
on
you
Reason
post.
somewhere. The
Oh,
clip
okay.
is, but yeah.
We do have a Facebook page for Reasons to Trust the Government, you guys, and we do have presidential candidate Ryan Brinkley giving us an
Yeah.
endorsement up. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, so headlines: Drug dealer suspect body found in the woods. Okay, gun seized from homeless after school bus gunfire. Mayor candidate pans Murad, and National Guard murder details. Okay, so that was yesterday. Does that sound like Vermont? Does that sound like headlines in Vermont? Murder, gun, school bus shootout? I don't know. Doesn't
Sounds
sound
more
like
like
Vermont to
I
me,
would think of like Portland, New York, LA.
right?
That's what I would
I
think.
love it. I love it. Okay, so body of accused Barry fentanyl dealer found in the woods. Okay, so this guy messed around and found out, apparently. Let's see. One of the 4 bodies found dead in Vermont woods in the last week belonged to an accused fentanyl dealer. Interesting. 4 bodies found in the woods, dead in Vermont in the last week.
I don't.
Okay, let's see. Who else was found out there? Let's see. Jeffrey Caron, who was found dead in the woods, cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound. Homicide, state police said. So, okay, so we got a drug dealer murked in the woods. And then who was with him? Another of the victims was another Barrie resident, a Massachusetts native. Also suspicious death. Let's see. Who was that? That was, let's see. What are the names? So Jeffrey Caron, Joni Brissett, another Teneri Velasquez Estrada, another Pittsburgh, Massachusetts native, also found dead in the woods. Let's see. And then Eric White of Pittsfield. So 4 dead people found, all seemingly related to fentanyl dealing.
Wow.
I wonder how 4 people end up dead in the woods with gunshot wounds. Huh.
Wow. But fentanyl's not a dangerous drug. Remember, it's not a existential crisis for Americans.
Do you remember when Donald Trump was smeared as an idiot when he declared the opioid crisis a national emergency?
Yes.
Just saying.
Weird. Real weird.
Weird. And just to show on a related note, Today's headlines from Vermont Daily Chronicle: 14-year-old charged with murder in eighth homicide of the month.
I mean, how many homicides does Vermont normally average in a normal
L-
month?
None. Like none. Vermont, when I was growing up, averaged one or two shooting deaths like a year. And normally it was some, white trash hillbillies getting into some domestic dispute and killing each other, like one of those a year. Or you would hear about accidental shooting during hunting season. Usually,
Mhm.
like one person would die a year from an accidental, from a hunting accident. Um, and that's really it. I'm not exaggerating. Anybody
Okay.
watching right now, put it in the chat. Tell me where the lie is that I just told. Similar numbers, I believe, in upstate New York. Dan can speak to this. Like our neck of the woods is traditionally, first of all, armed and strapped and or minding their own freaking business. So
Hmm.
people aren't running around murdering each other up. Um, Josh said, not to mention any murder in Vermont was not highly covered by the media. Well, and this is the thing is when I was younger, there were a couple of very high profile murders
Hmm.
and bad things that happened. There was a young lady who got kidnapped and killed in Essex. That was highly covered and it was all over the news. It was all over everything because it was so unusual.
Got
So
it.
for anything like that to have happened back in the day in Vermont, it was all over the news. People were talking about it. People were afraid. You weren't letting your kids out of the house because that just doesn't happen here, right?
Got it.
So you're not reading headline after headline days in a row about shootings and murders.
Hmm.
It's just not a thing. And so when we then see 16-year-old shot to death, 14-year-old faces murder charge, like again, where are we talking about? This is not Vermont. The headline: 14-year-old charge in Bristol killing eighth homicide of October. That's outrageous. A teen has been charged with the second degree murder of another teen who was shot fatally on Monday. Let's see what this is about. Um, uh, Hussein Muhammad is being charged in adult court with by the Office of Addison County. He's charged with killing Maiden Goviea. Sorry, you guys, if I'm pronouncing all these names wrong. Um, this isn't the first tragedy in Goyeva's family. His older brother also died in an accident in 2020.
Hmm.
So, not sure what's going on in that family for their children to be dying at this pace, but that's not good, you guys. We don't know what that is.
It's
Um,
tragic.
but that is really tragic. And it looks like we're still waiting for more information about this case. The other eight appear to be unrelated.
Hmm.
Um, oh, excuse me. The eight appear all unrelated, and six of the cases remain unsolved. There are persons of interest in at least three of the six unsolved deaths. So you have to figure this is eight homicides in a month, but not this year. So when we are having stabbings and shootings right on Church Street, again, I just don't know where we're talking about.
What's the current police force looking like in Vermont or Burlington these days?
Ooh, that's
Still
a good
under
question.
still understaffed or
Oh yeah, big time. They're way understaffed, way underfunded, And as far as I'm aware, it looks like they still don't have a police chief. I thought they had finally figured that out. And then this Mulvaney Stanek, who's the progressive candidate for mayor,
Yeah.
she's currently a House rep.
Mhm.
She has come out against Murad for police chief. And, here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. I think acting chief Murad must be some kind of a crazy masochist or something to have stuck around in this godforsaken place and to still be trying to help and do something after having basically being spat in his face by these people over and over again. Mulvaney Stanek is, I know we're not supposed to call people stupid, but I am perplexed, okay?
Mhm.
I am so confused by these progressives who are still coming out as being anti cop, anti police, pro Sarah George, justice reform, when we're literally now having this is one of the other headlines. Wait. Where is it? The bus got shot out.
Wow.
So we had so they was it in the last one yesterday? Wait, where is it? Gun seized from homeless camp after school bus shooting.
Okay.
So somebody had a shootout
Yeah.
that hit a school bus
Was it a
and shot
shootout?
the windows out.
Does it say it was a shootout? Or were they just aiming at the bus?
Let's see. Let's see what it says. After school bus shooting, Montpelier homeless encampment detained in connection. The shooting occurred at 3:24 p.m. as the bus was idling at the railroad crossing near the Agway store. The bus was carrying students at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, no one was injured, but they quickly took the school bus away and put the kids on a new school bus and brought them home.
Okay. That's good.
It appears to be a single gunshot through the driver's side window, which then made contact with the windshield. So the school bus driver could have easily been killed. Any of those kids could have been killed.
Mm-hmm. You got to remember the homeless have rights too, right? The homeless guy was at home, I'm assuming.
3 individuals residing at the encampment were detained and interviewed. No arrests made. Of course, because we don't arrest people, even though they have multiple weapons on their person or near their person when they were approached by the police.
I'm sorry. Uh, so you got the Punisher out here living in a homeless encampment, just letting the shots go. And
Okay.
wouldn't that at least be reckless endangerment or something?
Okay,
I don't know what.
so Senator Phil Baruth, Mr. Gun Grabber himself, what do you think about the fact that the Montpelier Police Department took possession of 7 firearms during the initial approach and did nothing about arresting the individuals who likely shot the guns through a school bus?
Well, the thing is,
You care supposedly so much about the safety of school children, yet I don't hear Mr. Baruth talking about the fact that 7 homeless people just shot up a school bus.
well, we don't, 7 homeless people didn't shoot up a school bus. There
Sorry,
was
3.
one bullet, right?
Sorry, 3 individuals,
Yeah, and there was a bullet.
allegedly.
So there's no telling. Maybe they didn't have evidence. I would assume that if there's a gunshot and you find people with guns and it was aimed at a school bus, that someone will be in custody somewhere. That is confusing to me.
That's very confusing to me.
Why would you even have the right to take their guns if they're not under suspicion in an open carry
Because they just
state?
passed red flag laws. So now, if you suspect someone of being potentially a problem, you can take their guns away. Thank you, Vermont State Legislature and Governor Phil Scott.
But here's the thing, and this is the thing that we don't talk about much, and it's just striking me as interesting. If you think that that person, you have evidence to suspect that this person is an actual threat, they don't need a gun to hurt or kill people. They could do that with any number of tools in any number of ways. I would think that if you actually believe someone has possibly fired shots at children, that enough to be able to come over and take their weapons away from them, that there would be another step following that. But maybe I'm confused.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so actually, I misspoke, you guys. Chief Murad has actually been formally confirmed. Mulvaney Stanix wouldn't say whether or not she would have supported him. So he was acting chief for 3 years. So he was too racist to be the chief of police, sexist, misogynistic, whatever, fill in the blank, istophobe for 3 years. But now suddenly, I guess because we're so desperate and he's the only person crazy enough to still want the job, they were able to confirm him.
Confirm. Well, that's something. What can he do though? Is the real question.
Oh my God. So Mulvaney Stanek doesn't like Murad. Um,
Because of what?
cause cause she's a silly goose. Um, let's see. I get this question a lot. No surprise. She just doesn't think he's woke enough. She doesn't think that he is reformed enough.
He's a police chief. He's just supposed to stop crime from happening. I don't
Well, here's the
understand.
thing. It's also Police Chief Murad. I don't like him either. He's not strong enough on police and crime. He is very much in favor of a lot of the woke policing standards and reforms that we're seeing as actually being very harmful.
Let me be clear.
So he has
When you say you don't like him, what do you mean by that?
Very specifically, what I mean is that Chief Murad is not as conservative as I would want in a police chief.
Okay.
He is seemingly a good man, right? I don't know him super well. We know each other, just from politics and interacting. He seems like a very nice man. He seems like a good man. He is not strong enough on policing and on consequences as I would like him to be. So he is a person who supports some of these reforms, as you will, as far as policing, where, de escalating and prioritizing things like that rather than force, as an example. And I just disagree with that.
Okay.
I think human beings are dumb. And if you give us an inch, we will take a mile. And so when you focus so much on the public and their feelings,
Hmm.
because policing is scary and you
Hmm.
want to try to be overly solicitous to those people to make them comfortable, I
Yeah.
think you make the community less safe. And that's actually the problem that I have with Chief Murad, or had with Chief Murad, when he and I spoke years ago. I think he has the best interest of Burlington at heart and
Hmm.
Burlingtonians. I think he really cares about his job and wants to be diligent about that.
Hmm.
So I don't hold any of that against him. He's just not as tough as I would want him to be as a police chief.
Fair enough. I think there are people who are better for peacetime and people who are better for wartime. And some people don't know how to modulate those two. And when you're dealing with actual rampant
Correct.
crime and criminality and people who have no respect for fellow citizens or the law, that
Yeah.
isn't necessarily when I need you to be overly solicitous to the individuals. As you said, you're taking care of the criminals, you're babying the criminals. No, they need to go to jail.
Yep.
And if stronger measures need to be taken in order to apprehend them in those moments, then that's what it takes. Because I think your first priority should be to the citizens who pay you to make sure that their persons and their personal property is protected. And if that's not the first and foremost concern that you have as an officer of the law or a soldier or whatever, you're negligent in your duties. That's just what it is.
Well, and that coupled with Sarah George being unwilling to prosecute criminals,
Mhm.
or create a space for drug addicts to get help and actually recover,
Mhm.
it's a perfect storm. So the police can only do so much if the people that they arrest or encounter are
Correct.
not being charged or dealt with, right?
Correct.
So
They need to say
his
something.
attitudes toward policing might be great and
Well,
might work great if we didn't have
well,
drug traffickers and human traffickers and sex
sure. But
traffickers
here's
and
the
fentanyl dealers and
but the part of the deal is like the fact that we're having to ask questions about what his intentions are. I hope he's made them very clear. I hope he's made these things we're discussing. I haven't seen it very clear to Vermont citizens or Burlington citizens, because we should not have to guess what your focus is and who you're here to protect. Because as you're saying, the administration matters as well. Looks like Emma Mulvaney Stanek is running her bid for mayor of Burlington.
yeah, yeah. So
So,
we're going from a progressive Democrat to a progressive. Uh Couple that with the, five 15-year-olds on city council, and you have the reason why we sold our house in Burlington.
well, here's the quote from Mulvaney. And this is interesting to me. Emma Mulvaney, that's funny. Uh, Now is the time to increase her top areas of focus will be public safety, affordability, and climate resilience. Uh, Public safety, that's cute. Now is the time to increase community engagement and connection. As mayor, I will listen to you and ensure that you have what you need to thrive. What does that mean? I'm excited to step into this
And
race
only if you're
to
a
lead this
progressive.
incredible city forward, Mulvaney said. So, how about you need what you have to survive? It seems like you guys need to be worrying about surviving first.
Yeah. How
Um,
about you just mind your own
and
business?
also affordability and climate resilience is interesting when you consider that it's a receiver state. So as far as I'm understanding, unless something's changed recently, Vermont's not even paying its own bills. Their
Oh
teenagers.
no, it's not. And Burlington, especially, is not paying its own bills. The rest of the state, we're siphoning money from the rest of the state into our school district.
So
Oh, we have more needy kids. So we're going to take money out of
yeah, but
your school district and siphon it to Burlington.
I think the point is with all that, and as far as the federal government is concerned, you guys are not even in a position to thrive. You need to learn how to survive and grow up. Like I don't think that she understands. That sounds great. It's a
Yes.
very positive sounding message. But when you have a spike in murder, drugs, trafficking, and whatever, we're not dealing with an incredible city and moving it forward. You're dealing with a
No.
city in a decline that needs to be rehabbed. You need
Oh,
that
yeah.
dude. You need that dude that does the restaurant restoration. He comes in and it's like a disaster and he turns it around.
Right.
That's who you need right now,
Oh,
not
yeah.
not this lady.
Well, and that's what Josh made a comment. I've never seen empty storefronts in Burlington, but now I'm starting to. I mean, that's the truth. Because of the rampant crime and drug abuse, you have the entire downtown being gutted, businesses leaving,
Mhm.
other businesses keep their doors locked during the day, and you have to be buzzed in,
Yeah.
or you have to schedule an appointment, or et cetera, and so forth. So these businesses can't survive on Church Street anymore because of the rampant criminality and thievery. I mean, it is just outrageous. And I love this. Janice says, when humans are not held accountable, they will continue to push the boundaries.
Yeah.
And that is 100% true.
That's
So if
children.
I am a junkie or a drug dealer or a criminal and I can continue to get away with the behavior, I'm going to just continue to progressively get worse and push the boundaries to see how much I can get away with.
It's just like
And right now,
sounds like politicians. Ha ha ha. Boom,
oh,
boom.
oh, Josh asked, can we get Burlington to be part of New York? I literally tried to start a cessation movement. What did we call it? Free Vermont. We called it was hashtag Free Vermont. And it was the whole thing was Free Vermont from Burlington.
Oh
Basically,
man.
how can we force Burlington to secede from the rest of the state? Let's just
No,
kick them out.
no, but what she's saying is humans are not held accountable. That applies to literally everything. I mean, and it's like if you had someone like you said who's a junkie on drugs, do you give them money and facilitate their bad behavior?
Oh my God, yes. Apparently, we're going to have on, I think Aaron Felker is going to come on in a couple weeks and talk to
Mhm.
us more about that. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that episode, you guys. He's going to do a little bit more research and get back to me. The Mayor Weinberger
Mhm.
has not only gone so far as to suggest safe injection sites, but actually safe supply. So Mayor Weinberger literally has floated the idea of
Genius.
providing heroin
Hmm.
to heroin addicts,
Yeah.
drugs to drug addicts to
Mhm.
protect them from overdosing from stuff laced with
I have a
fentanyl.
simple question. Where you don't have the answer to this. Where did he get that idea from?
I the pit of hell,
No,
Satan
but
himself. I
but
mean,
this
I literally like, what kind of a moron do you have to be to say that the way that you help a junkie is to give them more drugs?
well, if you're trying to alleviate the immediate over OD and bad drugs and fentanyl, whatever, I understand how that would make sense to a person who does not understand what they're talking about and doesn't understand addiction. So I'm curious, did he come up with that idea? Did someone
Yeah,
suggest that to him?
was it a recovering addict? Because I can tell you right now, as a recovering addict myself, if anyone had come to me back in the day when I was getting into legal trouble and doing dumb stuff and been like, you know, Erica, you're just a victim of society.
Yeah,
Let us just give you some cocaine.
yeah,
How about you just come into the clinic? We'll just give you some cocaine and you can go on about your way.
yeah,
If they had done that
yeah,
instead of being like, hey, Erica, you know what? You don't get to commit crimes and make victims. You're going to jail for what you've done.
yeah,
Like, I wouldn't be alive today. I would not
yeah,
be sitting here. I mean, it is unlikely
yeah,
that I would be sitting here sober today in front of you,
yeah.
alive, telling you what a stupid idea that is.
I think that again, people believe that the move is to be they see reform and trying to change the way things are and make things better um, as relieving people of accountability. It's like you can have grace with people, more grace than we've shown them in the past, more proactive ways of assisting people and moving them forward than we've had in the past. All of that's fine, but you cannot get rid of accountability. People, okay, this is what I was taught in some science class. Someone tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering this incorrectly. The human beings are wired to conserve energy.
Mm,
We are wired to have to think as little about things, to make things as simple as possible, to
mm,
to 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 get rid of as many decisions as we can possibly get rid of, and optimize
mm.
energy and resources. If you think of your energy like food or resources, you don't want to expend a lot of it. That's why people get stuck in echo chambers, because it takes less energy to just go along with people you like than to sit down and have a nuanced conversation and get into the details and weeds. That takes actual decision-making power and energy. This is why business optimization coaches will tell you, make your decisions in the morning when you're fresh. Don't wait to the end of the day when you've
Mm,
made 100 decisions. You've used up a lot of your energy, your brain power. Those are
mm.
real things. So
Science lesson.
if you give a person a way out, the best way to do this is with teenagers. If you give them a way
Mm,
out, a easy way, a shortcut, a
yeah,
cheat, they're going to take that cheat. Most people are going to do whatever they're going to work as little as possible to get the maximum return.
correct.
If you don't understand that that applies to crime, that applies to every layer of human life, you don't deserve to be in office because you don't understand humans. That's just humanity. It's, it just is what it is, man. So it's unfortunate that it seems so many people in our leadership, federal and state, seem to lack an understanding of what it means to be a human.
Mm. Oh, well put, Benjamin. That's why I think the denial of human the human being, right? It's like
Mhm,
they deny what is true about human beings inherently. And I think that is why so many of these things, so many of these policies and everything are just abject failures.
mhm,
It literally is a denial of how human beings work, what we do, what you can expect, and the truth. And
mhm.
there is no remaking of man. No matter what Karl Marx said in his stupid book, the guy who never had a job, who never made anything of himself, and was a leech off of people and society his entire life, thought that you could remake humanity in God's image. And it's a lie. There's a reason some of us believe you need a savior, and it's because human beings suck, we cannot be trusted, and the government is trash. But that is a side note. Speaking of side notes, I want to get one more headline in before
Let's
it's
do it.
too late
Let's
here.
rock and roll.
Hatchet wielding man arrested outside Brattleboro homeless shelter.
What does wielding mean?
Well, here's the thing. The woman that previously was in charge of the shelter was literally hacked to death. She was murdered. So
Hold
the
on,
woman who ran this homeless shelter was literally axed to
by a
death
by a homeless person?
by a homeless person.
Wow.
And so then now someone has come back with a freaking
Wait, was it
hatchet.
so the first person was caught though, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'll just read this one. Almost 7 months after the director of Brattleboro Homeless Shelter was axed to death, the Groundwork Shelter Network has been shaken by a hatchet wielding local man. No one was injured. Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's April 6th. Leah Rosen Pritchard was killed by a resident of the Morningstar Shelter in Brattleboro. Zaina Azra Zakira Mavish Jameh was arrested for second degree murder in May. She was found temporarily incompetent to stand trial, pending an August 9th court hearing for which VDC could find no information. On
So this is notice a pattern of non-prosecution of violent criminals and the increase in homicides and hatchet wielding people in Vermont.
who I want to know where that name is. What is that? Mavish Jameh? I've never heard of that. Or the next person on Thursday, October 27th, police say Tadris Hoth was arrested for aggravated disorderly conduct at the organization's South Main Street drop-off shelter. He was reported to be intoxicated and creating a disturbance at the shelter around 8:10 a.m., according to the officer Washburn. All right, so he was drunk and acting crazy with an axe.
Yep.
Hatchet.
And this is the thing is talking about, oh, we can remake man. Oh, we shouldn't put these people in jail. They're just mentally ill. They're just addicts. They're just sick. Yeah, they're mentally ill addicts who are sick and murdering people
Yeah,
or threatening to murder people. They have
yeah.
demonstrated that they are a danger to themselves and others, and yet we can't lock them up. Why? Why? I don't understand this. It's like, oh, if we show people mercy, they won't murder people. Since
Wow.
when? Since when, you guys? I just, I read through these headlines and I go, this can't be real. Like, this is, again, growing up in the safest state in the union where people could open carry. Like, I literally remember seeing a guy riding his bike down the street with a hatchet strapped to his back
Yeah.
or his hip or whatever, and not thinking anything of it.
Yeah.
Because I used to look at people like that and I'd go, oh, he's probably going to clear a path in the woods because that's what I would have expected growing up.
Yeah.
Now I see someone like that. I assume you're a crazy person going to murder somebody.
Yeah. Got to watch him. It's very unfortunate. Um, it is interesting to hear because, I wasn't in Vermont at the time. People talk about what it was like before and what it's like now. I think it's
Mm,
very interesting to hear those things and hear those conversations. And unanimously, everyone agrees it is getting worse. Um, I do not know what your city officials, how what their metrics for success are in Burlington, but they need some new metrics because
yep.
they are not doing it. This is
We definitely need
pathetic,
some new
to be totally
metrics.
honest with you.
I'm
Oh,
curious. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. I got something off topic.
I was gonna say, g- g- gr- given that you've actually grown up in actually pretty tough neighborhoods, like
Mhm.
what is it like for you to listen to me talk about some of the stuff where I go, oh my God, homicides and murder and whatever? Like that's not unusual, in the places where you grew up. You grew up in more urban areas with a lot more crime
So
and
so we grew up in areas. I was never in the well. There's sometimes I was in the worst part of town, but very rarely.
mhm,
I was lower middle class, so I stayed in places where you could get into fights. You could definitely get robbed, but you're probably not getting shot.
or
People weren't running
stabbed.
around wielding guns, stabbing people. It happened, but that was still relatively rare for us as well.
Mm,
Um, but I'm way more probably accustomed to hearing those stories than you are. I think it's wild when I go to Vermont and I see that it's just absolutely unnecessary. Like the problems that I see in Vermont are so confusing to me because they're like California style problems. But many of the problems we see in California, those are problems that are generated by your legislature. They're avoidable.
mm,
We've had homelessness go get out of pocket here in Austin. If we changed the policies, the homelessness problem went back down. When they're too lenient, we get more homeless people. When they're like, "Hey man, you're not going to be just running around old town, attacking people and sleeping all over public works," we have less homeless people out and about just being wild. And I know it may seem to some people to be unkind or whatever, and I totally understand that. But again, we pay tax money to be able to use roads and go to parks and for our kids to be safe when they go out in the street and for cops to do their jobs. These are not people who have a right to the things that we all collectively pay for. So it's not, you don't have a right to sleep in the street and urinate on the ground and defecate in buckets on main thoroughways. You don't have a right to that. Moreover, it isn't kind to allow you to be out there living
yeah,
that wild, flagrant lifestyle. And people see that as unkind to say, hey, man, you can't do that. But I see it as like when you have a child, you don't let them do whatever they want to do because it's not
yeah,
beneficial for them, but also it's dangerous for you. It's dangerous for the rest of your family if your kids starting fires in the basement. Like it's
yeah.
not.
Is it kind and merciful to leave mentally ill, drug addicted people on the street where they can harm themselves and others? I mean, is that really what we're calling mercy in 2023?
Yes. But But here's something that's fun because you mentioned places I lived. I lived in Connecticut and we lived near Bridgeport. So there's a story which is not crime. Well, it is crime related, but it's funny because I love it when people have to deal with the crap that they say doesn't exist. Roper. Absentee ballot fraud is real when it happens to a Democrat. Connecticut Democrats cry foul in Bridgeport mayoral primary. Apparently, many Connecticut Democrats weren't thrilled at the idea of a convicted felon and laugh out loud 7-term incumbent winning their primary for the city of Bridgeport's mayoral race. They were relieved when going to bed on election night that challenger John Gomez appeared to have pulled off a 487 vote victory. But in the wee hours of the morning, the corrupt felon slash incumbent, Joe Ganim, somehow, this author, now scratching head, rubbing chin, and peering side eyed up at the sky, managed to nearly double the challenger's tally of absentee ballot votes to come out on top by 251. Now, a host of, shall we call them, Democrat election deniers, or would that be unfair, are hurling allegations of absentee ballot fraud, and it looks like with pretty good reason. Actually, another major investigation is now underway.
Oh my, you said Rob Roper's put that out?
Yep.
Is that on Vermont Daily Chronicle too? Where is
yes,
that?
it is. It is.
Oh my
The more
God. That is
I
hysterical, you guys.
you love to see it.
I
Love to
love
see
it. Oh my God.
I
I
love
love it. I
how
love it. I
people
love
talk
it.
about things like of voter fraud and those things can't happen, and you look at it and you go, they were having these same arguments like forever about
Oh
people
yeah.
cheating in elections.
Oh
It's not
yeah.
really
Hillary
new.
Clinton, Stacey, what is her Abrams or
Abrams, but
whatever, the chick from Georgia still claim they won when they didn't.
well before them, you've had people claim. People always think somebody's cheating in some kind of way, and
Oh
there's
yeah,
always some kind of way to game a system.
oh yeah, they said Donald Trump cheated. They say George Bush cheated. The Democrats claimed voter fraud. The Democrats claim voter fraud every time they don't win,
Yeah, I love.
which is amazing.
I love the fact that the internet is undefeated, and I don't know if you guys all know what that means, but when we say that the internet is undefeated, what it means is that stuff's on the internet forever. So when you run your mouth about something with authority and you're attacking your opponents, back in the day when it was newspapers, people could forget what you said. It might be hard to track that stuff down. Nowadays, people are going to make a montage out of you and how you're done.
Montage.
I'm personally working on a montage right now, and it's a montage of fools and firearms. That's the title of my video.
I like it.
And the purpose is to show people side by side in Congress and in positions of power outright lying about firearms. And the reason I like this is because firearms are an objective thing.
Correct.
Weight, size, bullet penetration, damage, all those things are easy to look up and easy to find. When homegirl, I forget which one, was it Navarro who said that, was it that it was Joy Behar. She's one of the worst people I've ever seen on television. When she said that shooting a deer with a rifle was would destroy the meat. It would be inedible.
It was Whoopi Goldberg. She said that if you shoot a deer with an AR-15, that it destroys the meat and you can't eat it.
No, I got it here. I'm gonna find it. And it's like, the whole thing is like, that's objectively inaccurate.
Sue Seymour says we're having way too much fun.
Oh, we have to. This is clown
laughing.
World. This is clown world. You have to laugh. If you do not laugh, you will cry on your insides.
Chad Honkler, I need somebody to 3D print me a little statuette of Chad Honkler, or make me a t-shirt. Y'all Google it. Look it up.
Yeah, this is.
Are you looking it up? Are you looking up who said the quote?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Joy Behar.
Oh, I
Joy
thought it was
Behar.
Whoopi
No,
Goldberg.
Joy. She's probably said it too because they're all repeating each other's talk.
They're all
They're
dumb.
they're an echo chamber of fools. That's rude. I should not talk like that. They upset me because I'm watching people argue about constitutional rights and argue about things that have an actual real important purpose in our culture and for our safety. And they're saying things, they're darkening counsel with words without knowledge. These are people who do not know what they are talking about, but they're saying it with authority and they have reach. And when I watch people in Congress, and it's literally your job, it is your job. It's your job to know what you're talking about. You go into your office, into a meeting that's being, it's on the air, it's on TV, and you do not know what you're talking about. You're talking about guns being as heavy as 50 boxes you might carry. I just moved. We just packed up about a house full of boxes. A rifle, an AR-15 is not the weight of 10 or 15 boxes, let
I
alone
mean,
50.
this is the thing. Like, how are you lying or saying things that are easily verifiable that I can Google? I can
Here's
Google AR-15 and see that they weigh about 10 pounds. How do they weigh 50 boxes?
here's the thing
They
that's
shoot the equivalent of a 22 caliber bullet.
223 and 556.
But you're telling people that they shoot 50 cals. Like,
50
these are
50
things.
cows.
This is what somebody said. Somebody said that an AR-15 shoots a 50
50
caliber
cow.
bullet. I
Oh
was
my
like, "Are
god.
you high?
Where
Do
did
you
you
know how big a 50 caliber bullet is?
the,
It's
the,
like
the
they're
thing is
like
like
the size of my arm. I'm
you're
exaggerating now,
super
but like
exaggerated right now.
they're like
They're
they're like
large
they're huge and they're as big around as my finger.
and they will punch a hole in something, but at the exact same time, these people, like if I can't trust you to tell me the truth or at least do enough of basic research to go do your highly paid, highly publicized job, to walk in here with facts that I could print or you could pull up in a Google search in 15 seconds. How can I trust you on things where I cannot verify the data?
This is what I know. Josh said, "I can get you a shirt with my face on it. Best I can do." Instead of the Chad Honkler. Josh, if you send me a t-shirt with your face on it, I will absolutely wear it on air. You can mail it to 2028 East Ben White Boulevard, Suite 240 3018. Okay. 2028 East Ben White Boulevard, Suite 240 3018, Austin, Texas 78741. That's our P.O. Box, y'all. You can mail us stuff there. You can mail me a Chad Honkler doll. You can mail me a t shirt with your face on it. You can mail us a contribution. You can, please don't mail a pipe bomb or anything, though,
Yeah,
because
don't be
they're
that guy.
innocent people who check our mail. So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it.
But it really is. It is. Um,
It's astounding.
It is, and the good thing that I try, right, we try to laugh about it, is that these people, because they're so overreaching,
Hmm.
it really is starting to wake people up. Sheila Jackson Lee is stupid. I'm sorry. Like, that woman has said the stupidest stuff I've
Hey,
ever heard.
she's
She is a
black.
representative of
She's
the
black.
Houston in
You can't
Houston.
say that. She makes you racist.
I don't care. Then I'm a racist,
Means you're part of the
and
Klan.
then so be it.
Can't do it.
Because that broad is dumb. Or she, and again, we try to say people aren't dumb; they're just
They're
whatever.
they're
But like,
lazy and they don't
either
care.
you're dumb or you're
No,
a
no.
liar.
But check it
Like,
out
you're
though.
evil.
But here's the other way to look at the stuff that's happening. It works. Their constituents continue to vote for people who will lie outright to their
Yeah.
face.
Yep.
So while we have an energy about it and we know it's dangerous, these people they're effective. This is
Yep.
effective
Unfortunately.
strategy. Just dis
unfortunately.
It's a disinformation campaign from on high. So when we go talk to people and tell them the truth, they can't tell what's true and what's real and what's accurate because they filled the whole space with just lies, vicious lies. And the same thing, I saw a guy, Schuber or something like that, and it was an amazing video. And he was talking about, and I know people want everybody's not into guns. I like guns because again, it's a matter of mechanical science. It's you cannot argue, you can't argue because these are facts, these are numbers, you can search these things. So when people are wrong about something like that, it tells you everything you need to know about everything else they're going to say, right? Everything else they're going to say. And it is wild to me to listen to Schuber. He was like, here's an AR-15. It's not a weapon of war. He's like, a weapon of
Oh,
war has
right.
select fire, 3-round burst, or fully automatic. Those are weapons of war. Those are modified or enforced. This is what my brothers
They're
had.
not even legal.
They're not legal. You can't just go buy those. And if you can, you have to go through like a special dealer and have it modified into a semi-automatic weapon. You can't have that. Just
Yeah,
normal people can't get their hands on that.
you as an American citizen are not allowed to
Yeah,
own a fully automatic M4, which is what is issued
yeah.
to the military.
And there's probably
Either
some
fully
guy.
automatic or with the three shot
Yeah,
burst.
there's some guy who can. There's just like there's people with tanks and cannons. There's people who have things. And if you're a special type of person, but me, I cannot walk into a store and just get a fully automatic rifle. That's not real. He's explaining to them this is a weapon of war. Here's what we use in war. Here's a semi-automatic pistol. One squeeze, one bullet. And he starts showing them the different guns, and he's like, the AR-15 you're scared about fires exactly like it works the same way as his pistol. It just looks meaner. It has a little more distance because of the
It's
rifle or whatever,
scary.
or the barrel, but it does the same thing. It works the same way. And the thing I try to get people to understand about the gun debate, which I hope people understand this, and I hope they start to latch on. If you're playing a numbers game, AR-15s are nowhere near the most dangerous weapon. They're not even close to being the most dangerous weapon. We have John Lott talking about this on the show.
Yep.
I believe they said there was more murders done with of like hands and other tools than are done with AR-15s. They're just the
Yep.
ones that are spectacular and covered because it looks
Because they
scary.
look scary.
But more people are shot with handguns. So if you're saying we got to do all these things to save even one life, great. What do you think they have to come after next once they get rid of the AR-15s? They have to, by their own logic, come take your pistols. And this is what makes it very difficult for people who would like to budge and who would be willing even to give up an AR-15 or certain styles of rifle in order to find some sort of reasonable gun control. But the problem is that the government is tremendously unreasonable. So
Eh.
that once they take that inch, they're coming for that mile, fam.
Oh yeah. We
So
Josh said, I think cheeseburgers have a bigger death toll than guns. You know what? I actually don't think you're wrong, Josh. Actually, I think diet, cholesterol, and crap like that
heart
takes
disease.
way heart disease takes way more lives in a year than guns do. That's the
It's
reality.
because they're not concerned about lives; they're concerned about agendas and power and
Right.
money.
Well, and
And
that's what anybody who's done the research, like, or has read the research from, our guest that you mentioned, Dr. Lott,
mhm,
knows that, 1.5 million approximately self-defensive uses in a year versus 30,000 homicides or suicides a
mhm.
year. That is a big difference.
Yeah, they don't talk about that.
And so if you take away guns for the criminals are still going to be criminaling whether guns are legal or not. So then those 1.5 million self-defensive uses, what do they use now against gun wielding criminals who are going to be criminaling no matter what you do,
Yeah,
but I love this was a little while ago we were talking about how they answer with authority, and Sue says they speak with authority because they've been given authority from the elite scum to confuse the masses. You know what? She is not wrong.
I
Where's the
know. It's
lie?
just, it's
Where
just,
is the lie
it
there?
was so well put that it made me
I
laugh.
know. Sue's, she does poetry
Mm,
and music and stuff, so she's
yeah.
got a way with words.
She definitely does, and that's accurate.
Away with words. That's what you do, Suze. You've got a way with words.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
funny. We absolutely meant to be on here for like 20 minutes.
I know this was supposed to be a really short episode. We've been on here for an hour now,
It-
so we'll wrap it up, you guys. But just to circle back, go check out Vermont Daily Chronicle. Guy Page is doing an excellent job of covering the news that the mainstream media in Vermont is not covering. That they do not want you to know. That they don't want you to see. You can become a member, a sustaining member of Vermont Daily Chronicle. Donate $5, $10 a month
mm,
to support the news that you're not going to get elsewhere. You
correct.
can, another cool thing about Vermont Daily Chronicle is you get the news in your email every day. And so you can actually share it with your friends and family really easily, not just read it and consume it for yourself, but you can actually share it a lot easier than you can, say, a story on television or on the radio or
Correct.
something like that. So go to Vermont Daily Chronicle, make sure to subscribe, become a monthly donor. There, you can set up a recurring donation just like you can at Subscribestar/generally irritable. So,
Yeah.
another shout out to our subscriber of the month, Keisha. Thank you
Yeah.
for your support over at Subscribestar. Everybody go over there,
Yeah.
like, share this video,
Also, before we wrap up,
click the rumble button.
just so you guys know what it goes to, we're building a little network here. Okay. We're going
Yes.
to, since we can't get good news in Vermont and Burlington and it's ridiculous, we're putting together a little network with all the things that we're doing. And that's where all this is going, all the energy, the money, the donations. We're trying to fix the problem. We don't want to just complain about it.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Erica, tell them what they're going to be hearing about in 2 hours when we jump on with Mr. Dr. Bruce
Ah,
Abramson.
yes, as a reminder, today this was a special episode of Headlines with the Vermont Daily Chronicle. We also have an episode of Generally Irritable tonight, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, live with Dr. Bruce Abramson, uh, author, dean of students, all around smart guy. We're going to be talking about the Israeli Palestinian conflict and the history of the region, kind of how we got to where we are today, and a little bit more background and understanding about what we're seeing. I know you guys can go out to the internet and you can find the awful, horrible videos of people hurting one another, the attacks going on, the and just see the absolute destruction of what's happening in that area right now. But there seems to be a ton of misinformation and misunderstanding about the history of the region and
Mhm.
how we got here. And I can tell you, as a former student of the university system in Vermont, I definitely was not taught the truth about the foundation and building of the Israeli state
Mm,
after World War One,
yes.
and so I felt like it was important that we help contribute to spreading the truth rather than misinformation. So join us 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, live with Dr. Bruce Abramson. Benjamin, thank you. He just shared the link to Coalition for America. It's a think tank based out of New Hampshire. Bruce is a director and fellow there, and you can learn more about him. We've got a link to his website up on our social media, so you can
Yeah.
check out all his books and he's got tons of scholarly articles that he's
Yeah.
published. Very interesting guy. You guys are not going to want to miss tonight's
Yeah.
episode.
And he's super deep well of knowledge. So if you have questions you want to fire off, We'll try to get him to answer those as well. So yeah, tune in, ask questions.
Yep. And then next week, we're going to have Mr. Marcos Esparza on as a guest. We're going to be talking about the market and kind of what we're seeing right now going on with the market, whether it's the housing market, securities, treasury. We're just going to cover what that looks like and how that might affect the upcoming elections. So next week's episode also going to be super interesting. We're looking at coming back to having weekly episodes of Generally Irritable, you guys. So make sure you check out the channel, like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And we are going to close with a commercial for our book, Reasons to Trust the Government. Go check it out, $9.99 on Amazon.com. Get your copy today.
Yeah.
And
write a review.
Support the news you love.
Write a review.
Guys. Bye.
This book will give you wings!
What kind of wings?
Not like Icarus wings, like eagle's wings!
What about dragon?
You'll have dragon's blood! You'll be able to breathe fire!
Fire like the Ultra Eagle Dragon!
This book will make you smarter!
Yes!
I'm not just talking honor roll smart, I'm talking Nikola Tesla smart! You'll be so good looking, Brad Pitt will be jealous!
Do you want to make money?
How much money?
Elon Musk money.
That's a lot of money!
People will think you're Elon Musk, but you're not Elon Musk, but they'll think you're
Elon Musk, because you pay taxes like Elon Musk!
And you have to argue with Elizabeth Warren because she thinks you're Elon Musk. Do you want freedom?
How much freedom?
All the freedom. One to America. How much freedom do you want?
America.
Double America. Yeah.